He predicted 9/11 and then died in the towers the next day. Former FBI agent John P. O'Neill sat at a Lane's restaurant in New York City on September 10th, 2001, and told his friend that the Twin Towers were a very likely target. A few hours later, he would die in the South Tower in his new role as the head of security for the World Trade Center. FBI agent O'Neill was ringing bells for years at the FBI that Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda was going to attack the US. He was arguably the only one at the FBI taking bin Laden seriously. It's argued that O'Neill was the main force in stopping the Y2K attacks on the US, breaking up a plot in the weeks leading up to New Year's Eve. But the internal politics at the FBI didn't like him. He was abrasive. He dressed too well. He was too ambitious.
A good FBI agent is a good FBI agent. And if you assign an agent a duty or a responsibility, good FBI agents can meet that challenge, be they working criminal cases this week or national security cases next week.
So they did what they could to get him out. And in the months leading up to 9/11, they succeeded, forcing him to retire. He took a job as the head of security at the World Trade Center, making a solid $350,000 a year. And he was good at his job. But the trail of crumbs he had been following with Al-Qaeda and bin Laden for years was becoming a full basket of bread. For years prior, he believed that the FBI should focus closer on bin Laden, that he believed there was a substantial likelihood that they had plans within the US, and after the first bombing of the World Trade Center in 1993, and later attacks on US ships and embassies, people began to believe he may be onto something. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 6 hours after he left his friends at that restaurant and said he thought the towers were in danger, he would die at his workplace, a place he knew was likely a target.
There was one job in particular he was really interested in. It paid $350,000 a year, but it also had a special kind of significance for O'Neill. It was chief of security at those buildings Ramzi Youssef had tried to destroy, the World Trade Center.
And I joked with him, I said, well, that'll be an easy job. They're not going to bomb that place again. And he said, well, actually, he immediately came back and he said, no, actually, they've always wanted to finish that job. I think they're going to try again. And of course, that's something I'll just never forget.
On his second day, the planes hit. He was trying to coordinate the evacuations of the building. As a guy who only worked there a couple of days, and when the towers collapsed, he was killed.
He did it for the same reason he spent the Y2K New Year's in Times Square. That if it was going to happen, he wanted to be there to help stop it. And that is a brief but tragic look at the history of a failed chance to stop 9/11 and the man that tried hard to do so.